The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this video are the speaker's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of Control plus Indie and its owner. The material and information presented here is for general information purposes only. The Control plus Indie name in all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owner, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service. All information, images, videos, or any multimedia content shown in this video is copyrighted. All rights reserved for Zark Attack, including its participants.
Well, hello everybody, my name is Juan Jose, and I have the pleasure to tell you that today we have Jose Castaneda, sorry if I mispronounced your name, also known as Sark on social media, creator and developer of the game Exophobia, a retro-inspired first-person shooter with a little bit of Metroidvania sprinkled on top. This game was released on July 23rd, and you can find it on Steam, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, basically anywhere. So, Jose, could you tell us a little about yourself?
I had a pretty regular progress until I became a game dev, you know. I was just like a kid that liked to draw, to imagine stories and all that. But I didn't have my first console until I was like 10 with Game Boy Color. But I saw all my other friends playing games and all that, and I always wanted a console of my own. And then I fell in love with games, like playing in Game Boy, Mega Drive, it's the Genesis, as you call it, and after that, yeah, I became I wanted to do my own things. I started daydreaming about my own games, my own stories, and then I found out that I could be a game dev just by when I was like doing homework from school, and I was like searching, okay, how do I make a game? And then in Google something showed up, Game Maker. And that's how I first started my first steps in trying to really make a game and discovering that whole world. And after that, yeah, I didn't know what coding was before that, so I learned code just to make games. And then I discovered that I actually like to code, so I went to college to a course in computer science for that. But I always had like that artistic side also to it, so I was never really truly a coder nor truly an artist. And I think like video games is like the best way to just mix the two of those and make something on your own. And that's how I ended up like I wanted to make my own games, and yeah, that was it.
Exophobia, it started as in a game jam, am I right?
Yes, that's correct. Il Ludum Dare. It's one of the most known game jams. They had like two categories. You could participate alone as a solo dev or with a team. And I usually just participated alone just to improve my skills in game dev. And what I used to do was like in each game jam, I would try to do a game in a genre that I never thought about before. Like I never did like a strategy game or a top-down game or a platformer, and I would like try to constantly evolve that. And Exophobia was born like, okay, I want to do an FPS game, and it was the first time I was doing like a first-person game, and even a 3D game with Game Maker is not very common, and yeah, it was born out of that. So, and if the limitation of the palette and all that, it all came from like being restricted in time. Just I had the weekend to do everything. So that restriction came from having a short amount of time to do the assets and all that. Yeah. And yeah, it was born out of that.
You gave an interview in 2019 to a fellow YouTuber, and I remember that you said the color palette, the like blue, greenish, and red. You made that decision like consciously to make the blood like, I don't know how to say it in English, but
yeah,
you get me. Yeah.
Yeah, so visually more impactful, right? So yeah, it felt good because like the team was something about like the team of the game jam was something about violence or something, and I was like, yeah, what can make something violent? Like blood pools everywhere, right? And blood, what can make blood stand out? Like, so the complete color opposite of blue, like the greenish red, the greenish blue and all that. And it came out of that, but it was like a happy surprise. I think really liked how it came out, and I didn't think too much about it. It just came up in it, and I think it worked fine because everyone really liked that color limitation.
You have this slide that you can stun enemies. Does that come in the so to speak pre-alpha, or was later after the game jam that you're like, hey, what about if we could put this slide to stun enemies? How does that mechanic like grow into the game?
I wasn't very I didn't play a lot of FPS games before I developed this one. I was like so that you can see all the inspiration from like Mega Man, Metroid, and all that. And Mega Man has a slide, right? And at the time I wanted like to make when I was doing the game jam game, you could actually slide, but only strafing. You know, it was like a strafe where you could just move sideways, but the strafe was also a slide, and I like that, but it was confusing to use. But when I developed the whole game, I was like, yeah, if I want to have like an action that the player can do, I don't want that action to be limited to just one thing, to just avoid stuff. So I want that action to be used in a lot of parts of the game, so you can use the slide to in all directions and go into enemies, and use the slide to like push stuff and all that. So the slide was in the pre-alpha, the prototype from the game jam, but I developed that idea just so it could be used further. And like if the player needs to learn a new action, a new verb, he can use it in a lot of other places. Yeah, so it becomes very versatile. You know, like you can use slides for many things, and it kind of becomes. And even to go faster, for instance, like if you want to go fast to a place, you just spam slide, and it has a lot of uses, you know. And I wanted to try to make that.
How do you balance innovation with player expectations? Because FPS is a quote unquote very common genre. You know, there's millions of them. You know, you run, you shoot, the thing died, and okay, it's game over. But you implemented this color palette, this slide, the gameplay, the sprites are very impactful in the game, because you could have made, I don't know, a Vikings in space, you know, but you specifically made this like this type of alien race. And even though in the interview you did in 2019, you told the interviewer like, you're not a storyteller, you're more focused on the on the gameplay. But that was like 5 years ago. So now that the game, now that the game already launched, and you, when you're playing, you can find these like logs, like
the CDs,
logs.
The discs.
So the disc. I'm trying not to spoil anything for.
I don't know. It's okay. It's okay.
So I'm trying to be very very vague the terminology. So. 5 years from that interview to today. So how do you approach the game design? How do you balance innovation with player expectation? How those 5 years now that you now finally could go to a GameStop and look at the cartridge, the box there, and you're like, that's mine. What changed in that period of time?
Oh yeah, like you said, like I'm not a storyteller. I don't think I've become one. It's like it's still the weakest part of the game in my what I think, you know. But I had to include some sort of story. I think just for the because people like lore, and I try to do my best to do it, but it's still not it's not very good. But yeah, I tried to come up with these stuffs just so you could have more things to collect. But what you're saying, like from 5 years ago, of course a lot changed. Like you can even see like my improvement in a lot of areas, even on game animation. Like if you see the enemies at later stages of the game, you see that they're very more well animated than the first ones. So there's a lot of improvement over that time. And yeah, when you were asking for the innovation, balancing the innovation expectations of players, I don't think that's something I truly achieved, you know, because a lot of players play the game like it's Wolfenstein. They just walk slowly and hide behind covers and shoot and all that. And that's not what the feeling I wanted to bring with this game. I wanted to. It may look nostalgic and retro, but it's its own thing. I wanted it to be something unique, you know. Uh, and some players really get into that mindset when they start playing and see what they have available and the mechanics and how they work, and they get into that mindset of going fast and exploring, and it clicks with them. But some other players still have the perception of playing Wolfenstein or Doom and try to do it in this game and then get frustrated when it doesn't work. So it's very hard in today to just make like a game that tries to be its own thing, because players will always compare to something else, and can give you like bad reviews because of that. Like, oh, it's clunky, because they don't adapt to the game. They try to adapt the game to their what they think it should be, but it's so it's really hard to manage that. But I think I did a good job with like teaching all the mechanics and all that. And that's all you can do as a game developer is to try to ease in the players into the mechanics and try for them to explore them to the best of their abilities.
Game is on consoles, and a lot of I mean, today I was researching on YouTube, you know, your interviews like years ago, and you know, all the gameplay. And
I'm impressed.
You
went through all of that.
And
so that's nice.
No, and I try to thank you. I try to always come up with something that people don't usually ask. So, what is the process? Because you're a solo dev. You sit on your computer and you are testing bugs, you know, the code planning and everything. But when it comes to publishing a game, I suppose, because I'm not a game dev, I suppose that PM Studio Incorporated, in this case, comes to you and says, hey, your game is nice, we're going to publish this on Nintendo, I have the Nintendo contact on the telephone, blah blah blah. How does that process, for anyone who's watching this as a indie dev, because not everyone has the opportunity to launch their game on Nintendo. I mean, PlayStation, Sony, you know, Xbox, Microsoft, they're a little more
I still don't believe it. Yeah. I still don't
so,
believe it like it.
So how did that happen?
So if you're a solo dev, like my tip to you is that just market your game everywhere. Like, don't be afraid to show what you have done. If you have an idea, just go ahead. Like, I started posting on Twitter like 3 months after I started the project, because it was one in the game jam, but I picked it up after that. And once I had something to show, I kept showing on Twitter, trying to get some traction and all that. Make your Steam page if you want. Like, it really depends. Like, if it's a big project, just wait for a publisher to do it. But if the more you show to everyone, the more eyes you have on your project, and this publisher will approach you if they like what they see. I don't like at the time. Maybe there was more opportunity for that. I don't know how the market is right now. I think it's really hard to get a publisher nowadays, because all the layoffs and costs and all that. It happens. But but what you can do as a indie dev is just show your work everywhere and prepare a pitch deck, like something that you just to show that you know what you will be doing. Like, I'm going to work on this game for this amount of time, and I'm going to need this amount of money to finish this project. And if you prepare all that, you can send it to publishers, and they will know that you're someone they can trust, and and do all that. Like, I had to learn all of that stuff. Like, at the time, I wasn't even thinking about getting a publisher, but when they approached me, they were not the only ones. I had other proposals, and I had to read a lot of contracts and all that. It was kind of scary for us all. That, like, for me, just wanted to put like a small game out there. And when I was reading all these, and then PM, so I had a meeting with them. They were cool. I was talking with them through Zoom, Once I put like a face from an email, like when you see an email, it's just text, but once you see like the face and they talk to you, like, okay, I don't need to be scared. Like they're just people that are trying to help
make a living.
yeah, yeah. And they believed in the game, which is was really humbling. You know, like, oh, something I'm making got the attention of someone, and they want to help and all that. And then they showed me like, yeah, we can put your game on consoles and all that. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I really want that. So I went ahead and with them, and yeah. So be prepared, like show your game and be prepared to get some proposals. If it like the more viral it gets, the more proposals you'll get. So, but then it's only a matter of time and for you to get proposals and to like you have to evaluate everything really well before you sign up. You also have to be cautious with that. So yeah, biz dev is not something you can learn from one day to another. So it will be scary at first, but yeah. It's doable.
Whether it's technical, financial, or emotional, have you encountered any obstacles along the way? And how did you overcome these challenges?
I started at the end of 2019, so I had a couple of months before the pandemic hit. It was also a bit hard, but yeah, I was living with my parents at the time. So it wasn't too bad, but yeah, it kind of affected a bit the mental health, you know, like being at home, and also wanted to show like a demo at the time, and was working on the demo and seeing all this feedback. And yeah, it kind of waits on you a bit when you solo dev, and it's the only thing like you're doing at the time. I didn't have a job at the time. I just did some teaching over Zoom and all that. But yeah, it was on a hard part. But yeah, I think the biggest challenge was like trying to really finish the thing, because when you come up with the game and you envision all of this world and all the features it will have, you really don't know. Like, it was my first big project, so I didn't have any time of kind of comparison, and I thought like I'll be done by the end of 2021 or something. And it got delayed a couple of times, and that is also hard for someone that just like sees the expectations of players and really wants to give them the game but can't. And and you're kind of like, dude, this game, and and you don't know, you don't see the finish line. That can be like a really big obstacle.
So what's your approach to game design? Do you have any system, or can you walk us through your development process, please?
No, like I'm not the most organized person, so even as with working and all that, like I like to develop things with like have a feeling for stuff, you know, like, but it's hard to have a system. But at the time in December, I was done with development. Like, I was not adding anything else. The game was completed, and I was like just waiting for the porting studio. I didn't do the ports for Nintendo and all that. I was an Xbox and PlayStation. The PM hired the studio that will take my code and then apply it to the consoles. But it was nerve-wracking because it was like someone else just going through my code, my messy code. And it was like I didn't know what the hell to do. Like they had a lot of questions. And I was like, I can't. I wish I could help you, but and I have to explain stuff because I didn't comment things because it was just me, you know. So it was a lot of trouble. And then Nintendo also is very restrictive with everything. Like if you put like a button that is not the right name, they will reject your application, and it has to go all over again. So like this year was basically that, just getting the games approved for consoles. So yeah, these last months was just that, trying to get it approved. So I thought I would be done, like, oh, I'll just send the code and then I can relax and take a vacation. But no, they were like bugging me every day, like, oh, how does this code all works? How's this? And then I had to test it with dev kits and all that. So it became like an extra months of work that I wasn't expecting just to put in on consoles. So but my tasks is just like, okay, if I need to have something done, I'll just make a list and cross it out and do stuff like that. Like I didn't have a lot of playtests at the time because I was just playtesting with friends. So didn't work too well on that part, but it was pretty much like that, like just crossing out stuff, and then until it's like done, it's really hard to like to set the line like it's done, like I'm not touching anything, because when you're doing your own game, you always want to keep adding more or polishing more, like, oh, this doesn't look as good, I want to go back and redo this. So yeah, you really have to set out a finish line for yourself.
You told me you used Game Maker to create Exophobia, so did you choose that engine because of the limitations that other engines offered you, or because of more of a personal taste?
No, it doesn't have anything of that. Like, Game Maker is mostly a 2D game engine, but I was so used to work on it for game jams that I was fast with it, you know, like I knew all the quirks and all the features it had. So I thought, like, yeah, I want to keep making a big game, but in Game Maker, like, I was just used to do game jam, small games. And I didn't choose it because I was just used to it and wanted to keep working with it. So, but for 3D, it's really hard. Like, I had to make my own like basis of the engine, so it could show like a 3D world. But the editor itself is top down, so you see, like, it's like a top down shooter. You build the levels like the map you see in the game, so you see on top down, and then when the game runs, you see the 3D world. And that has been like it's hard to build a world with that in mind, because you always have to run the game again to see how it looks in 3D. Yeah, and that's also why the world isn't very, very complex. It's most like mazes and all that, because I don't have any 3D editor. It doesn't import any objects, any 3D objects. It's just sprites and all that, and planes. It's very simple, but I try to take that simplicity and make something pretty with that.
So, will you use the same engine for future projects, or would you try something new?
I was thinking of trying Godot, but I'm not sure. Like, the whole process of like learning another engine seems very tiring. I don't know if I'll have the energy for that. Yeah, I think I just want to make the games, and I think like Game Maker works very well for 2D games, so I think I'll probably stick to it. If I see something, if I have like the mental space to learn something else, maybe I'll try. But yeah, I think I enjoy making the games and I have fun with that, but learning all this stuff from scratch it's more complicated. But
No, of course.
yeah, we'll never know. Like, I won't say never, you know.
yeah. That's
Maybe I'll
true,
try a new thing. Yeah.
So, Jose, how do you promote your games? Like, is there any strategy that have worked for you?
Yeah, that was also something I had to learn, you know, like I didn't have any marketing knowledge before this. I just used Twitter because it was like the social media I was more comfortable with. I never paid anything for ads or anything else. I was just like built a community there, like on Twitter. If you keep posting a lot of stuff, and if it's interesting and you get like 1,000 followers, you get more and more each time, because if you are consistent with your posting, you know. But yeah, I can't really recommend, because it's something that I'm still learning. And there's no definitive answer. Like, you can find like, you can like be a YouTuber and get a lot of views on it if you're doing a devlog, or you can go on Instagram and post pretty gameplay videos and also get a huge following. There's no really rule for that. I think it's just follow what you're most inclined to do. Like, don't try to force it. Like, go to a social media like TikTok and try to do a TikTok dance there. If it's not your thing, like, don't force that. Just do what comes naturally to you. I think that's the best thing.
No, of
I
course.
can advise. Yeah.
So, now that the game is out, how do you handle feedback? Both positive and negative. You know, the feedback, the criticism, and the player support.
Yeah. Like you're trying to say like the you can be like, yeah, I still don't have more a reason to do that. Like, it didn't blow up like yet. And it's okay. Like, it was expected. But yeah, like you said, everyone is a game critic. But I believe, like, if you don't like the game, yeah, you can you can criticize all you want. Like, you shouldn't just give a chance to something that you're not having fun with. And I truly believe that. And not every game is for everyone, right? So you have to find your own thing. and if it clicks with you or not. So that's like one of the problems of like making a game as like you're doing something that is passionate to you, but how many people will like that same thing that you like? Like it's really hard to find that. So yeah, it's like mainstream games. What is that? Like not everyone likes kind of a certain kind of game. Yeah, but for reviews and all that, like it's been good. Like the positives have been really good. I'm a bit of I suffer a bit from like that syndrome is like, oh, you can get a lot of positive feedback, but once you get like a negative
Yeah.
critic, you like it's the
Yeah.
only thing you can think of,
Yeah.
so, so yeah, that's really hard for a solo dev. Like it's fun. Oh yeah, you could get all the praise you want, but if someone comes there and just says, yeah, this sucks, like no, it completely ruins your day. And,
Yeah, of course.
and
That's what I
yeah,
asked. Because,
yeah. And yeah, it's hard. Like I wasn't prepared for that when I launched, but yeah, I think I'll have to learn to deal with it with that. It had some haters at the first and all that, and that's something I like. I don't understand. Like people that give the game a chance and they like put a bad review after 13 hours, like I see on Steam, and they say they didn't like it. Like okay, yeah, you didn't like it, but you played it, so yeah, I completely agree with your review. It's fair. It's a fair review. But if someone just goes there and just puts a bad review after playing 10 minutes, like that's like that's what you were saying. Like it's like not caring for someone else's work, right? And even if you don't know that if a game is made by a single person or a small team or that's something like as a consumer you shouldn't care, right? You should only play what you would like. But yeah, I think you should also have a bit of respect for what the work of others, and it can also ruin like our game comes out, but yeah, I'm trying to keep being level-headed with it, and yeah, always thinking of the next thing and how I can improve. I received a lot of bug reports on Steam, and I had to fix them right away. I'm always on top of that, but just because I really believe like if people paid for the game, they deserve the best experience, and these bugs can ruin their experience, and yeah, I want to be able to go and fix them. It's not easy as a solo dev because it's like I don't have energy to keep working day and day to try to answer. I try my best, but it's not as fast as it could be. But yeah, but actually people on the forums have been praising like this. Oh, you fix this right away. Like this is the only treatment that you can get only from indie devs, right? Not a big team can fix it like a game in such a short notice. And that's been fun to see. Yeah. And that's been fun to see, like people just saying thank you for fixing their problems right away, and keep adding new stuff. Like I had key bindings because someone wanted to play with their own keys on the keyboard, and I did that really fast just to have that ready, and widescreen support because someone wanted to play on a widescreen. And those were some things that I couldn't do before. I was trying to, but with the rush of launching, I didn't finish it on time. But once I see people asking for that, I was like, hey, here you go, like you have this fixed or have this headed, and it feels great to like give them, and they are like, oh, thank you so much. And it feels great to see that reception. Yeah.
Jose, do you have any memorable interaction with a certain fan or fans?
Oh, that's a hard one. Okay, I have a lot of really great fans. Like I was teaching class to like in school I was teaching game development class for a school, and one like I was like showing my work and showing Exophobia at the time, and one of the students became really interested in the game and is now he's like the number one fan, because he's like I sent him a key when the game was still in development, and he was like finding bugs left and right, and he played like 100 hours of it just alone. I don't know. just trying to find bugs and
Yeah.
doing all this playtesting, and now he goes to every live stream since the game launched. He goes to every live stream and watches the stream and talks to the creators, just out of, like, I didn't ask him for anything, but he's just so passionate about the game that he tries
Hey.
to do that and help. And
Yeah.
it's been very valuable because he like he goes like, oh, the streamer had difficulty with this, and he reports that back to me, and I'm like, yeah, that's nice. I can. It's like having a second helper, you know, like
Yeah.
right there. Yeah, so it's
No, of
nice.
course.
Yeah. Hmm.
No, yeah, sure.
So
You
fans
know,
like that are amazing, you know, like stuff
yeah,
like
no,
that.
of course. They made
Yeah.
the whole thing like, how do you say it? Like worth it. Like every like every night that you spend like 2 hours sleeping and 6 hours working, that's the
Yes.
interaction that you're like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, no,
Yeah. Yeah. At least, yeah, it feels like at least I changed positively the life of someone. You know, like they are excited for things, and that makes me happy. Yeah, to see they excited for something I made.
Do you have any quirky side project or a dream game you'd love to create someday?
I do have like a dream project that I've been like, it's been in my head forever. Like the thing is, like you were saying, game dev it takes a lot of time, and that is true. It kind of consumes your life when you try to think of all these projects and all the things you have to learn. Like for solo dev, like you have to learn the art, the implementation, with the code, and all these different aspects, and kind of consumes your life, right? But yeah, like the dream project. Was like I have a million ideas in my head, and and I have one that I really want to make, but it's like I know it will take time, so it's kind of scary, and that it's also scary because like I know that once I start it, like
there's
it's
no
like the
going
dream,
back.
yeah, no going back, and the dream like will be gone. It ceases to be a dream and starts to be like something real. So
Yeah.
there's like I'm still postponing it to like when my life is a bit more balanced, I think.
Yeah.
So it's kind of something that you keep pushing, but
Yeah.
but for other projects, yeah, I tried to make some prototypes at the start of the year. Also, I showed to some people, they liked it, but it's a completely different genre. But I'm still trying to like to find the next thing, because it's really like with this game, I kind of went like, yeah, I want to do this game, and I fell in love with the concept of all of it, and then I was like, oh, what if the games will be like this and like that? I was like really excited in a very personal kind of level. Like making the Exophobia was very personal for me. But now I have to think a bit more like the professional side, like what kind of game will people like, instead of just what I would want to make. Like I know it feels like kind of a defeat, like yeah, you stop doing only things you like, but you have to also start thinking this part. So it's kind of getting the best of both worlds, right? What you want to do mixed with something that can be potentially successful, and sometimes that's limited to some genres, because yeah, like Exophobia looks nice and all, but yeah, I think it's a very niche game, because you have to be really good at playing FPSs and really good with action games. Not everyone can understand it, you know, like
No,
yeah.
that's
So
true.
so you have to bring your passion to something a bit more mainstream, I think. So maybe next projects will be something like that, but I still want to go back to that dream project one day and start it for once. Yeah.
So you're the creator of Sark Attack. It's your studio. So now that Exophobia is out, what's next for the studio?
Yeah, but you know that once you launch the game, it's like you feel empty inside. Because I used to like every single day go to work on that game, and every single day think about the game, and then it's out there, and you're like, yeah, what's now? what can I do now? You know, like you feel empty inside. And I've give it a bit of thought, but I still don't know. Like I want to keep launching games on my own, like and maybe do the same as with Exophobia, but maybe smaller scope games, I think, and just test the waters for a bit. Whatever feels better to me. Like I don't have the pressure to make it viable, so it's like I just want to make sure like the games are fun and they speak to me also, like,
Of course.
yeah. So they have to make sense in my vision of what games should be, and that's what Arc Attack will be. Like, if you like the Exophobia and the feeling of wonder that you find, like the mechanics and all that, something very gameplay focused, not a lot of story and all that. So maybe that's what will be next.
Is there any hard-earned wisdom you'd like to share?
The advantage of being solo, like, I wouldn't work for games the other way, you know, like, if I didn't have to, if I couldn't do my own thing and get my ideas out there and just work for the sake of working, like, I wouldn't be making games. I would be doing something else, because for me, I think games are very special, and I really want to put my taste in it, my vision in it, and I do games because of that. Like, I have a full-time job doing websites and all that, because it doesn't take like my passion for it. I don't need to do it for passion. So, like, I try to balance those two things out. So yeah, I would say, like, if it really depends on what you want to your game dev journey to be. Like, you can also, I know of people that their dream job is like to go to these big AAA studios and work for them and be part of a big giant game, and that's also okay. That's also a valid dream, you know. Like, if you have that dream, you should follow it. But so you just have to know that what you want to do. Like, is that what you want to do for the rest of your life? Like, there will be obstacles in your way either way. Like, if you go solo, if you go small team startup, if you go to AAA, there will always be obstacles, and you just have to pick the ones you want to face. And yeah, my tip for you is, like, yeah, just sit down and think, where do you see your life in the next years, and is that the life you want? And yeah, decide that if you want to keep pursuing that.
Are there any trends or changes in the industry that you're excited about or concerned about?
I'm really used to just play like indie games and all that. Like, I usually just play Nintendo or indie games, like the big games from Nintendo or indie games. Like, I never really tried, like, sometimes I played like the big AAA games, like Last of Us and stuff like that. But it's really not my type of game. But I just play them just so I get to know what these games are and how they work. But yeah, like, for me, it's just a matter of taste, right? I don't play games just to see a story or watch a story and read text. Like, I'm really gameplay focused and really want to just solve puzzles and fight and all that. Everything that makes my fingers move and all that. It's all it's all I want to do. I try to play as many indie games as possible, and from different genres. Like, I'm not really genre agnostic. Like, I just play a certain genre. No, I like to play everything. But yeah, like, I can give you like the current things, because like it's mostly just Nintendo and indie games. Like, I play a lot of Game Pass because I can try a lot of different indie games. I usually just try to, like, okay, I'm gonna like study this indie game, but then I end up like just trying to complete it 100% when I really like it. So it's kind of hard to just to study a lot of different indie games, but then I end up liking every one of them and try to complete them.
Of course.
With Game Pass, that's really nice. Yeah.
Is there any video game or indie game in this case that you're playing right now?
I finished the campaign for Rollerdrome on Game Pass. It was amazing. Like, I really liked it. Like, the skating and all the arena shooting and all that, and everything had a really good flow to it. I really like that one. I was playing Sea of Stars, but it was also very story focused. So that's the part I like the least. But the RPG combat was nice, but I still haven't finished it. But the story part is like too much for me. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing. Some stuff I got on Steam, like Fight Night, which is also a game maker game in 3D. I don't know if you heard of it. Fight Night, which is the the knight that
Okay.
punches people, and you have like combat in 3D.
I haven't
Yeah,
heard of it.
yeah,
I'm gonna search it. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty much like that. Like I usually like playing like solo dev games. Whenever I see on Twitter someone solo dev posting a game,
yeah.
and they launch it, I buy it right away and give it a try. And I think I really like supporting the small devs. And being a solo game, they have something special to them. I think like you can see like it was made by this character, this personality. Like it
Yeah.
gives the game a whole nother feeling
Yeah, of course.
for me.
So, Jose, before we close the interview, is there something you want to say to your fans or followers?
If you guys enjoy like getting lost in a game and just trying to like figure out how things work by yourself, and if you like playing fast-paced action games, yeah, I think Exophobia is for you. Like there's no hand holding. I think it's a very unique experience in a way that it doesn't bring a lot of the tropes from the genre to it, and tries to make it its own experience. So yeah, if you are curious about what it could be like a Metroidvania as FPS, you can give Exophobia a try. And yeah, it's out now on PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox and Switch, and Steam, and it's soon coming to GOG and Epic Game Store also.
Amazing.
So yeah, and to all the fans that already played it, very big thank you. It's been an amazing reception, and all the help that you've been giving in the forums and all that, and just giving your suggestions and your bug reports. It's been very helpful. And yeah, thank you so much. And I think it's like, yeah, keep following my projects and my games if you like Exophobia. So I think it will be a nice journey from here on out.
No,
And
course.
that's it. Thank you.
So, thank you, Jose, for having the time to
Thank
talk
you,
on the
Juan.
show. So, thank you again. The game is amazing, and for everyone
Thanks.
who's watching this, please buy Exophobia. Support your indie developers. Like Jose just told you, it's on Steam. You can play it on your fridge, on your microwaves.
Yeah,
So
like
please,
Doom, right? You can play
yeah,
anywhere.
exactly. Taking a pregnancy test,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be nice.
So please check Exophobia out. Follow Jose or Sark on social media, on Twitter. So thank you, Jose, once again.
Thank you for inviting me.
So no, thanks to you. So
Yeah,
nice
and thanks
to
for
meet
supporting
you. No,
indie
of
games.
course.
It's been
No,
it's
of
been
course,
amazing
of course.
and very
Just,
professional podcast, by the way.
thank you
Enjoyed it.
very much. Thank you very much. Jose. So yeah, so
Well, that was today's show. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to follow Jose on social media, and of course, if you like the video, like, comment or subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to follow CTRL INDIE on Twitter, and also don't forget to join the show's Discord. My name is Juan Jose, thank you, and see you soon.